friends, it is so good to see you today, and I hope you stretched, because we're going to be doing some mental gymnastics to keep up with the plaintiff in today's case. Now you see, this woman and her aunt had a quite peculiar agreement, but agreement nonetheless, because when teen pregnancy struck, there was now a baby in the world who, well, needed somebody to raise her. Now, why you would want to have someone else raising your kid until one day you decide, hey, actually, she can find out now that I'm her mom, and then be in court the next day suing for emotional distress because the daughter did find out that you are her mom? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, this girl was doing backflips, trying to convince the judge that she is deserving of this $7,200. So friends, grab your coffees, put on a sweatband, and let's backflip into this case.
Tania Cole versus Angela Booker. You're suing Miss Booker for $7,500, alleging that she caused you emotional distress.
Yes, Your
Is that
Honor.
right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you something. You're going to have a hard time explaining this one, okay? Because I'm at a loss. From the brief that I read, I still don't quite understand where you're coming from, but I'll let you tell me and try.
Well, Your Honor, I'm also at a loss right now and quite emotionally distressed. My aunt was a legal guardian of my daughter, so we've agreed upon several years ago. My daughter is now 12 years old and has found out confidential information that I tried my best to keep from her just out of protecting her. And
What were you trying to protect your daughter from?
the fact that I'm actually her mother. The agreement was that we would eventually tell her mainly around the age of 10. And
She's 12.
right.
So when did the breach occur?
Well, the breach occurred about, I want to say 4 months ago.
But if you said you tell her at 10 and she's 12,
I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready financially. And the agreement was that we wouldn't tell her until about 10 or when I'm financially ready.
you may not ever get financially ready. Was that always a possibility?
No, ma'am.
She's financially ready, Your Honor.
Well, But that is no time limitation on it when you say, when I get financially ready, because you may not ever get financially ready. So is that what it was supposed to be? Maybe never?
I wouldn't say maybe never.
So obviously the child now knows that you're the mother.
Yes.
And how did this come about?
This came about as neither myself or my aunt was home, and Ari got into her journal that was in her room, just going through her things, browsing through her things, and found a journal that stated the truth.
So the child, let's just call her child, because I don't want to say her name, spends time with the defendant, or she lives at the defendant's home.
The defendant lives with me, Your Honor.
Oh, so all three of you live together?
Correct.
And how long has this been happening?
For about 6 months.
Okay, so in the last 6 months, the three of you live in the same household.
Yes.
And is that when this alleged breach occurred?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the child was in the defendant's room
Yes.
and went through her journal?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to the defendant. Where was your journal?
Well, usually, Your Honor, I keep my journal in a box, and the child went through the box and found the journal and read the entries, but it was an accident.
The child got nosy.
Yes.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Some nosy-ass child. Your Honor, the child was just being nosy. So honestly, she should be in here suing her child for emotional distress, considering she was the one that birthed the nosy kid, okay? But none of the impetus of any of this can land on the child, realistically, because, well, she's a child. And this mother is over here acting all offended that her nosy child read a book that told the truth of their situation. So I'm kind of confused, just as Judge Maybelline stated in the beginning of this case, how she's going to prove this case of being emotionally distressed by her kid reading someone's diary. Now, what I want to know is, what is the purpose importance of keeping the identity of your kids' parents a mystery to them until they reach a certain age. I feel like that in and of itself will cause more emotional distress to the kid than any of this. If you wake up one day and find out that your mom really isn't your mom and your mom's niece is now your mom. So while the plaintiff is over here getting her panties in a bunch because her kid found out that she is in fact her mother, claiming she was not financially stable, but you don't necessarily need to be financially stable for your kid to be aware that you are their mom. They can know that you are their mom and also still live with your aunt. I don't see what the problem is with that. I know plenty of people who grew up living with their grandparents. They knew that they were their grandparents. They knew who their real parents were as well. So it may not be the most ideal situation, but you can't just pawn off your kid to some other family member, have them play mommy for a few years, and then be like, all right, I have enough savings, I can be mom now. Yeah, that's not how parenthood works, unfortunately.
Is this your personal journal diary that you keep?
Your Honor, yes, it is.
And it was in a box?
It was in a box.
That had a top on it?
It had a top on it, Your Honor.
In your room?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the child is 12?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she has to learn yet not to bother other people's stuff?
I keep telling her, but, you know, kids will be kids sometimes.
And so what was in the journal?
Well, in the journal, my entry stated the true relationship of the child and my niece.
And when did you write this in the journal?
I've been writing different entries in for years.
I'm trying to understand. What do you believe that your aunt did wrong? What did she do to cause this?
There's tons of emotional distress that I've been under, Your Honor. I've had to undergo pretty intense therapy because of the emotional distress that I'm in, not only myself, but my daughter upon finding out. I've not only gone to the therapy that's typically covered by my insurance, but I've had to undergo even deeper therapy mentally, whether it be vibrational therapy, sound bone therapy, or even other things that they're still testing because I'm having such a hard time.
So what makes you think she hasn't gone through a hard time trying to keep a secret all these years?
Well, she's been really pushing me to express this information and tell my daughter sooner than I was ready to. And I've told her that I'm not ready. I'm just simply not ready.
Well, buck up, Buttercup, because pretty sure no parent is ever ready to become a parent. Just because your aunt agreed to this ridiculous situation where she raises your kid for however many years it takes for you to get your shit together, which clearly you haven't got it all together because you need every ounce of therapy to deal and cope with this traumatizing experience of your daughter finding out you're her mother. Oh, you poor thing. Forget about the kid and what she's going through. You are a tortured soul. How do you go on? It's a mystery. If your kid is already 12 years old, she's already like half-baked at that point. Not very far off from 18, so might as well go the full length with the aunt. Instead of barging in one day and saying, I'm your mommy, I'm gonna take you away now from the life you've known your entire life. Girl. You definitely should be in therapy. I think we can all agree on that. Vibrational therapy, don't really know what that could be. But I think you have a little bit of work to do before you can start claiming motherhood or start claiming that this woman somehow traumatized you so deeply after she is the one who has raised your kid for the past 12 years.
But maybe you were ready for her to know, your aunt was ready for her to know because she was tired of keeping it secret and it was killing her. What were you going through?
I wanted to adhere to the agreement that we had earlier because my daughter, the child.
What agreement did you have earlier?
Excuse me, Your Honor?
You said you wanted to adhere to the agreement.
The agreement was 10 years, Your Honor, at the age of 10 years. And
So-
she's been asking questions, and she's very intelligent. She can sense things.
So the agreement that you would disclose when the child after 10 years.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so your 10 years are up.
Correct, Your Honor.
So she hasn't breached the agreement.
However, she hasn't breached the agreement, but I am under emotional distress, and so is my daughter. It's caused me a great deal. As you can see, I am suing for $7,500.
You did not think that your child, born 12 years ago, and your agreement was to tell her the truth at 10 years, you didn't think that that would cause either of you any kind of emotional trauma or concern? You thought it was just going to be a walk through the park, and you were at 10.5, you were going to say, hey, Mary, or whatever her name is, guess what? I'm your mother.
Your Honor, I was also 18 at the time, and quite literally coerced, if you will, into...
Coerced?
Yes. I was definitely manipulated into
coerced,
giving her my child. She also
manipulated into giving, you manipulated somebody to give you their child for you to take care of and raise and teach and change diapers and feed and cook and iron and sew and et cetera, all that goes along with parenting. You manipulated her.
She's
to be a
delusional,
parent?
Your Honor. She's delusional.
I love how Judge Maybelline is just so blatant in her utter confusion with this case. You manipulated this young girl into giving you her kids so that you could take on the huge responsibility of raising a child on your own. You evil, evil woman. Like, let's be real here for a sec. Who in their right mind is going to manipulate someone to giving them their kid so that they can feed and clothe and raise this child from infancy to become a human being only to say goodbye at the age of 10? I'm sorry, but that doesn't sound like a selfish thing to do. Sounds to me like the defendant was seeing her 18-year-old niece in a very difficult situation. Mind you, I still think it's really weird to agree to suddenly revealing the truth of the child's mother to her halfway through her adolescence. But seeing as Judge Maybelline can't even get through a sentence without chuckling to herself, I don't think this is going the way the plaintiff thought it would.
Why would you say you manipulated her to be a parent?
This is
what, you didn't want her to have to quit school because she's now 18? You wanted her to be able to go to college, to live her life. How did it come about?
The world was her oyster. She was a very astute student. She had a scholarship. And I was very surprised and disappointed that she got pregnant because it didn't make any sense. Why you would let some silly boy get you pregnant who wasn't even on your level. So I felt that, I want people in my family to stay in the family. I didn't think it would be a good idea for a child to be being raised by who knows who.
You didn't want her to go into foster care.
Right, because that is a very
because
terrible...
she had decided that you weren't going to keep the child.
Yes.
Right, but I was also very adamant about not A, having a procedure done, or B, putting her in our home. My original thought process was to put her up for adoption. However, my aunt convinced me that it would be best for her to stay in the family. I don't want to continue to live into these stereotypes that my family often goes through. My mother had me when she was 17, passed away when I was 10. My mother passed away when I was 10. My aunt raised me.
See?
This aunt raised you.
Yes.
I raised you.
She did. And
gosh.
And
this is a continuous cycle in our family of our family members raising other family members, and then there's secrets on secrets on secrets, people not knowing who's whose parents, whose aunts, whose cousins.
Listen to yourself. You're creating the secret, and you're the one that's now suing her because the secret got out. What are you saying that you didn't want the secret to be?
I wanted my daughter to be up for adoption. I wanted to put her up for adoption, but she convinced me to keep her in the family.
Even at adoption, they tell who the parents are. Even if you had put her up for adoption, she could have found out your identity.
Your Honor, she made a mistake, and I was trying to make it better for the family and the child. And
you were
she's
trying to make it better
unappreciative.
for yourself.
No, I wasn't.
You don't.
Do you know how much I
family-
went
But hold on. But you still didn't have to accept it because you were the mother. And at any point, you could have said, no, I don't want you to have the child. I don't want you to keep the child. I don't want you to be the guardian of the child. I am going to put this child up for adoption. I'm going to put this child in foster care at any point, because you are still, even as of today, the only person, well, not the only, because her father has rights too. You're the person who can make that decision, and you could have made it at any point you decided to.
Exactly. This girl is acting like she had no autonomy in her life to choose the future of her own child. And now she's blaming everyone else on the problems that she created for herself, claiming that our family is full of secrets, yet adding to that family curse that keeps happening. And now you're in the courtroom suing the woman who raised your daughter, who is now taking care of both of you. You're both living in her house. Because why? Because it was a tough situation? I'm sorry, but either way you look at it, this would have been a tough situation. You getting pregnant at 18, tough situation. You deciding that you want to do adoption, tough situation. All of these things would have been tough. All of these things could have led you to getting therapy. But now, since you have somebody to blame the tension on, you're gonna sue her for it? She should be suing you for all the money she spent raising your kid, only for you to waltz in one day saying, hey, I actually want to play mom now. Put me in, coach.
So please don't come up here saying that now. You be grateful, at least acknowledge that that your aunt and the defendant did a good deed for you and your child.
I've been grateful for several years, but now, where we are today, where you're trying to take my child away from me. I was young, I was naive, I was manipulated, yes, by not only you, but the
now she's trying to take your child away.
Did I manipulate you?
Absolutely.
To open your
You
legs?
just-
Wait. How's she trying to take your child away? Have you filed any papers to take custody of this
You
child?
just called her.
I did not.
You just called her your daughter.
She is. I take care
And
of her.
she's not. She's not.
Okay,
She's not.
either you want her to know that you're the mother or you don't. So she says she's your daughter, now you're mad. You
I
didn't
want
want her
her
to
to
know
know.
that you were the mother, and that's why you're suing her. You are confused.
I want her to know I'm the mother. I just don't. I didn't want her to find out when she found out and how she found out. Even if it was not even if it wasn't when, it was how. It was how.
She didn't have the right to go through my things. That's
was
what
how.
kids do.
Miss
You've
Cole,
been through my
Miss
stuff.
Cole, you are truly confused. And I'm glad you're in counseling. What should have happened was when you had the child is you should have started the counseling 12 years ago. You should have started the counseling immediately, because you recognize, you said it's a pattern that goes through your family, people getting pregnant as teenagers and then someone else raising the child and not saying that I'm who the true mother is. But you added to that pattern, and you had the power at any time to stop it. And now you're suing her because the secret is out. You're confused. You really are.
I genuinely feel like I was, as a young girl, manipulated. The father left. He wanted nothing to do with the pregnancy.
Who manipulated you?
Feelings are not facts.
My aunt.
Okay, let's assume your aunt manipulated you and she took care of your child
always
that you
wanted a
didn't want
child.
to know that you were the mother. And now she knows. And now what's the problem?
The way that she found out, I feel like
She
it
went
has
through her things being
emotionally-
nosy.
I feel like it has emotionally damaged not only myself, but my child.
It probably has caused some emotional problems, and that's why both of you go into counseling. All of you go into counseling. It probably has had some effect upon her. There's no question about it. But what you're doing here today is worse effect than anything else that could have done, because she found out that she's her mother. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I think about all of this. Foolishness. You all have to sit down together with this child as two intelligent adults and tell the truth and be honest, because you're making it worse.
I have loved this child.
And you don't have to stop loving her.
She's trying to take her away from me.
I have never said that I was trying to take her away from you.
You want to be the mom when I've done all the work.
I am her mother.
So am I.
I am.
Ms. Booker,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're sounding ignorant. You're sounding selfish. And you're not sounding like the person who took the child out of love and concern for the child. And I believe you may have, and I'm not sure, But if you still have that same love and concern for that child, you will back up and you will work together and let it be known to her that she's the biological mother and I'm your mother as well. And now you got two mommies. No need of you crying over it, because she's not taking the child from you, but she's stepping into her role as biological mother and accepting her role. And she has the right to do that, and you need to allow her to do that. If you can't do it and share the child, then you need to step out.
Your Honor, she's trying to make me the villain, and I'm not the villain.
I've trusted you.
Judgment for the defendant. I am not ordering her to pay you one thin dime, not one. These costs and this emotional distress and all the bills you have for counseling, it was going to come about no matter what. And it should have come about a long time ago. It's not her fault that you need counseling.
I trusted her.
If you're going to keep on, that some judge is going to take the child from both of you and give it to yet another person, because you two are about to destroy her. And it's not out of love for her, it's out of your own selfishness for yourselves. Because if you really loved her, you'd forget about all this stuff between the two of you, and you do your best to make sure that this child has a healthy life until she's able to make her own decisions. And if you aren't able to do that, children have enough love to love both of you. Do you have enough love to love each other and that child? That's the question.
I always love my niece.
Judgment for the defendant.
You know I love you, and you will always be family. Family is love.
I'll see you in counseling.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is for sure, they definitely need therapy. Because for all intents and purposes, this woman is the plaintiff's mother. She raised her for majority of her life. She took her in when her mother passed away. And yes, of course, I'm sure we all love to blame our parents for a lot of the emotional distress we feel in our lives. But there comes a point when you're an adult that you kind of have to take the reins yourself and deal with it. It is tragic what happened in your life. Losing a parent is nothing easy. And then getting pregnant at 18, definitely not an easy thing. But stop blaming everybody else for your problems. If you want to really do what's right by your daughter, you will work together with your aunt to raise her. Instead of adding to this emotional distress and trauma within your family, you have the power to break the curse, break the cycles that keep happening. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this case. Do you think the plaintiff was right to sue for emotional distress? Do you think that she was justified in any of this? What do you think about this idea of waiting till the kid turns 10 to reveal the truth of who her real mother is? I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.